everyone, this is Lou from AdriftInTokyo.com. Welcome to our first vlog. Now, I've never blogged before, and let alone try to do a vlog, so you'll have to bear with me through these first few episodes as I iron out the bugs and figure out how to do streamlining of the whole process. This website is basically a one-man operation myself, so I'm going to have to do all the video editing, the footage, the uploading, etc. So bear with me as I get to it. I'll get around to getting better at this process. I follow a lot of people who vlog and blog, and I give them a lot of credit for what they're able to do out there with uploading new material often, and they seem to have it down pretty pat. But okay, so why are we here? What are we doing, and what are we going to be talking about on this, this first vlog? Well, I'll give you a little bit of background of who I am, my interests, where I grew up, how I got to where I am right now with Japan. I'll go into a little bit about the MBA program that I've actually been accepted to and I'll be attending in Tokyo. And then I'll talk a little bit about, what to look forward to in this blog and, the future vlogs on the content in AdriftInTokyo.com. So I want to give you all just a feel for what's going to be coming and what to look forward to. So, alright, so without further ado, who am I and why did I decide to start this blog? Well, first off, there are plenty of other blogs and material out there that's going to be a lot better. Something to start. I should start off with this, right? But there's plenty of other great stuff out there, and just due to sheer amount of time and effort, I'm not going to be able to keep up with that. But what I want to share with you all is basically my story, what I'm interested in, and how I got to Japan, and to help you all out. But a little bit about myself. I grew up in New York City, technically Brooklyn, New York, but everyone knows New York City. I grew up part of an Italian family. I went to school there my whole life, and I went to college in Pennsylvania where I studied chemical engineering. And throughout this entire time, I really had no interest in Japan, in Japanese, in doing Japanese things. It was quite the contrary. I actually was more interested in staying local, not traveling, and not doing any of that stuff. In fact, I don't think the first sushi that I had was in my junior year of college, and it was with my girlfriend, and she pretty much forced that upon me. And she's an Italian from New Jersey, so it's pretty far away from what you'd expect from a person who's going to Japan. It all started when I graduated college. I got this job at an international company, and they put me on this first kind of newbie assignment. Now, it was a very lucky newbie assignment, but they sent me out to Singapore, and I was supposed to support this technology out there. I didn't know anything really more than that. I took the job. I thought it would be exciting, and that is what started the opportunity for me to get to know Japan, to interact with people from the Japanese culture, and that's where it all kind of started, this passion, this interest of mine. And I really look back on that experience and I say that's what got me involved in Japan. That's why I want to go back and experience more, to make more friends, to build a bigger network, to learn the language, etc. So when I finally came back to Northern Virginia, I started a new assignment. I was back in the States, and I kept on thinking about how do I get back out to Japan. And I was thinking about my future career, my interests, and so I landed on doing an MBA. Now, in another vlog, I'll talk more about why an MBA, my specific interest in getting an MBA, and why that may be helpful for you. But for now, I'm going to be embarking on this MBA program. It'll be at Hitotsubashi University. Hitotsubashi University is a public university in Japan, specifically in Tokyo, Japan. Now, it's not the Hitotsubashi in Western Tokyo. I'm sure if you go on Google and you type in Hitotsubashi, it's going to show up somewhere in Western Tokyo, far from the city center. That's not the program that I'm going to be attending. I'm attending the MBA program in Chiyoda-ku, Tokyo, it's a ward in Tokyo. But the program itself is pretty much right around the corner from the Tokyo Imperial Palace, the gardens. over there in Chiyotaku, near Tokyo Station, etc. So that's the program that I'll be attending, and so that's the one that you want to look out for if you're interested in doing an MBA, if you want to do some research on the program I'm doing. So why all of this then? Why am I doing this blog? Why am I spending all this time talking to you about my MBA experience, my background, what I like and dislike about Japan? Well, it kind of goes back to my interest in giving back to the community of folks out there who have helped me immensely get to where I am. Whether it's researching Japanese neighborhoods in Tokyo or looking for resources to better my language skills, everything out there, whether it's a blog, a vlog, or a website to help you learn more kanji, people have given me so much, and it's unbelievable how much I've grown in terms of language ability or learning about Japan. And if I can give back a little bit to folks who are either in my shoes right now or looking to get out to Japan, I want to give back to that. So my first objective was to capture my little lessons learned here and there and throw it back out there on this blog, and to address your questions or concerns, and so that I'm part of, the process giving back. The second piece that I'm interested in doing, kind of got me thinking about doing this blog, is I really wanted to document all my experiences, and I could have done that in many different ways, but I thought, wouldn't it be neat to do a blog and learn a little bit about the process in general? Learn a few skills, generating a website template, figuring out what framework I should go with. Wouldn't that be neat doing that, learning those skills while also documenting my experiences in Japan? And so that's where I kind of got interested in doing a blog and throwing in a few vlogs in there so I can learn a few things while documenting the process along the way. So I've got my notes down here in case you didn't realize that. But so let me talk a little bit about the MBA process and what's next, kind of going forward. I'm going to Hitotsubashi University in Tokyo, Japan. I'll be attending this program. The application and the experience was pretty standard. If you have applied to graduate programs in the US or Europe, Asia, you submit your application sometime around in the US I think it's a little bit earlier, but whatever. For this program, you submit your application sometime in the December, January time frame at Hitotsubashi. I heard back they want to do a phone interview with some of the professors in February. You hear back the result of that mid to late February if you were admitted. Now, I was admitted, and I probably heard about this, and so I'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of going through the interview process, the material required for Hitotsubashi. But what I was looking for really was an MBA that focused on general management skills. Like the Hitotsubashi program focuses a lot on international corporate strategy or international business, and that was something I was going for. I didn't want to specialize in marketing or finance or entrepreneurship. I wanted something that could take me back either to my engineering company that I work for or look for other opportunities and really make that work in a, hey, I've got technical skills, I'm quantitative, I've got all this technical background, but look at this, I've also got an MBA and I can work with others, I'm good in teams, I've got general management skills, so let's put that all together. Yeah, I could have probably went for an investment banking route, but it's just not where my heart is. And so that's kind of where I was in terms of why an MBA, at a very high level, and why Hitotsubashi. They speak English, it's an English-speaking program, but with a heavy, obvious Japanese kind of edge to it, where you learn a lot of Japanese if you want to, like in your spare time. So what's going on right now? It's basically just a lot of preliminary stuff. There's a program director. She's introduced us to all the people in our cohort or our classmates, and I'd say right now, roughly, if I had to break down the class, it's probably around 25% Japanese, which is a little bit smaller than I expected, but I'm not surprised because of the diversity they try to strike. But it's about 25% Japanese people, 50% Asian and other Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, China, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines. We've got someone from Mongolia, of course, India, Pakistan, and Hong Kong. So you have a lot of diversity in the Asian countries. And then the other 25% is roughly, Caucasians, myself. We like to lump them all into one group. The Americans, you've got a few Canadians, you've got a guy from France, and I think we have someone from Australia as well. So we've been introduced. They set up a Facebook page. It's pretty standard stuff. We're talking back and forth. Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? What's your background? And so we're just kind of getting to know each other right now. In addition to that, I think this is pretty standard too for MBA programs, but we've got a lot of preliminary coursework to do. So right now, Hitotsubashi, in a collaboration with Harvard Business School, they've set up some preliminary courses that we have to go through. And so these are kind of foundation courses. There's an intro to accounting course, there's an intro to finance, and there's an intro to quantitative analysis. These 3 courses is just to kind of get us ready for the real stuff, I guess, in September. Now, I've had a pretty strong technical background, so quantitative analysis is mostly statistical stuff, data analysis, regression analysis, so I've done that. That's pretty straightforward for me. But the accounting and the finance stuff is a lot of new material, but I've touched upon some of it, so it's not terribly bad, but it takes about 8 to 10 hours to complete, so if anything, it takes up your time. So, when am I leaving for Japan? Well, unfortunately, I'm very grateful that I've been able to obtain the MEC scholarship, or the Monbu Kagaku Sho scholarship, which is through the Japanese government. It's, I forget the actual acronym, or not the acronym, but the actual description of MEC. It's Ministry of Sports and Education, something, something, something. But it's very bureaucratic, I found out, and this program, they won't issue my air tickets until they go through the process. So they say I'm going to be arriving sometime September 12th or so of this year. So I'm guessing my airfare tickets will be issued, and then I'll depart sometime September 10th. But I'll talk a lot more about my next scholarship experience. And if you know anything about studying in Japan or going to Japan, you know that the next scholarship is a big deal. It helps you a lot. It's a full scholarship with a monthly stipend. So I'll definitely be talking a lot more about how that scholarship got me out to Japan and what you could do to maximize your chances if you want to do that.